Special thanks to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be taking another look at r/AmITheA, a subreddit I haven't looked at in a little while, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's stories about people where they're not sure if they're the good guy or the bad guy in this scenario. Now, as is always the case with this subreddit, the not the asshole posts get way more upvotes than the asshole posts, so I do have to actively seek out posts that, you know, are both variety, so I try and get a little bit of a mix, a little bit of controversy in there, you know, but that's what we're going to look at today. Now, very quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention that, as always, I will be live on Thursday at my Twitch. The link is in the description and on screen right now. Do come check it out. It's always a good time. We always really enjoy it, playing lots of Monster Hunter at the moment, and it's really a good time, so I appreciate everybody that goes to see that. Other than that, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? Am I the asshole for spending my son's university fund on a trip to Europe to drink beer like I always threatened, instead of giving it to his stepbrother after he passed away? My son was smart, smarter than me. I almost requested a paternity test because he was so damn intelligent. That is a joke. My ex and I divorced when he was about 12. She remarried when he was 14. I did when he was 16. I had an RESP set up for him. That's an education fund in Canada. As long as he went for post-secondary education, he could use the money for anything. I always told him that I was okay with him not going to university. That way I could use the money I had saved up for him to go to Belgium and buy some beer from monks that only allow you to buy one case. He knew I was joking, and he always played along. He wouldn't let me get his goat. When he got accepted to McGill, it was the proudest moment of my life. I took him out for a beer to celebrate his achievement and mourn the loss of my trip to Europe. My son was struck and killed by a drunk driver in March. I'm dealing with it. My ex is dealing with it. My wife has been nothing but a rock in this. She is holding me up. I was dealing with the funeral arrangements and everything when my ex came to talk to me about his money. She knew he had a scholarship and was just going to use the money for living expenses and an emergency fund. She asked me what I was going to do with it. I said I was going to do what I always said I would. I was going to Europe to drink beer. She asked if she could have it for her stepson. I thought about it and said no. Her husband is a decent enough person, but he made it clear that he wasn't responsible for any expenses for my son, beyond food and shelter and stuff, obviously. Like I said, he is decent. I said I would not be going to do that. I was going to go drink beer in my son's honor. She says I'm wasting thousands of dollars, and I guess I am. I have to give back the government portion of the fund, but I don't care. My ex thinks I'm being stupid and irresponsible wasting my son's money like this. I don't care. My son would laugh his ass off if he knew I actually did it. So this one was voted not the asshole, and I have to agree with that. First of all, grief makes us do irrational things. Not that I think this is even irrational, but to be, for your ex to be claiming, you know, that you're being irresponsible for wasting your money for going on a trip is like, you know, yeah, sure, people can invest money in greater things, but also you need to use money to do things that you've always wanted to do and enjoy, you know? There's an important level to that, and you're grieving, and you need to grieve in your own way. But the thing that really strikes me is you are both grieving, right? You're both sharing the loss of your son, you and your ex, and that's a really difficult thing. But for your ex to then go up to you while arranging the funeral of your son and expectantly ask you to give her the money that you saved for her own son who's not related to you is bizarrely entitled. I don't know, that yes, she can ask, but she cannot expect you to say yes, you know? She can't demand that you say yes to something like that. It's your money for you to spend however you wish and to grieve with however you wish, you know? Just not the asshole. Not the asshole at all. Am I the asshole for not picking up my drunk sister from a house party? My sister is 16 female and I'm 24 male. Last night around 3 AM, I get a call from my sister and she says that she snuck out of the house and she's really drunk and at a party with a bunch of older people and she needs me to come pick her up, and she gave me the address, which was about 45 minutes away. I was planning on watching C-SPAN at 4 AM. We live in the West Coast, and calling in to talk about issues, since that is kind of a tradition of mine. Because of this, I did not want to go pick her up. I called my parents and told them where she was and she needed them to come get her. I didn't think about it again. On my break this morning, I get a call from my parents saying that my sister is grounded and had her phone taken away from her. They thanked me for calling them. I've gotten other opinions that have kind of made it seem as though I was the asshole, but I think I did the right thing. That said, am I the asshole? Voted for asshole. Once again, I agree, asshole. There's multiple layers to this. First of all, being that your 16-year-old sister, your sister who is a minor, is in a dangerous environment while drunk, surrounded by older people that you and she don't really know. And you didn't go and get her out of that situation. Second of all, you are in a position where your sister trusts you, you know? She's in a dangerous position and she doesn't want the additional stress of calling her parents or people who will judge her for her choices, which is exactly what happened. They grounded her for it, you know? She trusts you to get her out of that situation without adding extra pressure on. That's kind of what older siblings do. They get their younger siblings out of a situation and tell them why what they did was wrong without parenting them, you know? And what you have done is straight up said, do not trust me for these things. Never trust me. I'm not going to help you. And like, yes, you called her parents and got her out of that situation, which could sound like, you know, you've done a good thing, except that the reason that you did that wasn't for altruistic or good reasons. You didn't get her out of this situation by calling her your parents because you were worried about her. You turned down going and saving your sister from this situation because you wanted to watch fucking C-SPAN. You have just straight up told your sister that you value C-SPAN over her safety. Yeah, you're the asshole here. Am I the asshole for correcting a friend when she said she rehomed her cat? My friend told a story about rehoming her cat because it wouldn't stop going to the bathroom on her bed. She said she put the cat in its carrier and left it outside the door of a local salon before they opened. She said she checked in later and one of the girls had decided to adopt the cat, so the rehoming was a success. I told her that what she did was not rehoming, and that what she actually had done was dump her cat. I told her that rehoming involves finding an owner and vetting them in advance. She got very angry at me for judging her. Am I the asshole? No, she didn't rehome her cat. She dumped it. Like you said, she abandoned it. I mean, what this really shows is that she got a pet without, you know, having any expectations of actually looking after this animal. She got a cat thinking it was just going to be perfect and easy to look after. She didn't want to attempt to train it or teach it how to do other things, you know? The fact that it's pooping on her bed is an issue with how she's raising this cat. But more to the point, it shows how little she actually cared about this cat. That not only she didn't actually try and verify that the people that she was giving this cat to could look after it. She put it in a carrier and just dumped it outside in front of a shop. Who knows what that shop would have done with that cat? If they did anything, they could have just left it out there. If you really wanted to go the easy route and, you know, not have to vet someone and rehome it, take it to a home. Take it to one of those cat shelters, you know, and go, I can't look after this animal. Please home this cat. That's at least better than just dumping it on someone's doorstep, but it just shows how little she cared for this actual life that she was responsible for, that she would just dump it on a stranger. Baffling to me. And then to be all proud about how she rehomed this cat because this stranger was kind enough to take in a cat that was dumped on their doorstep, and acting like she did a good thing is just so completely blind. Am I the asshole for washing my hands by the trash can? I go to a small temple near my home sometimes. After praying, all the devotees are served dinner. I come from a culture/religion where people typically eat with their hands. There are curries, gravies, and other things that get your hands dirty. We are given a napkin, but that is not enough to properly clean our hands and mouths. Get this, there is no bathroom or sink in the temple premises. None of the nearby stores have a bathroom. I feel like I would be the asshole if I went to a nearby restaurant to use their bathroom without buying anything. The train station that I go to come back home has a bathroom, but that bathroom closes pretty early. So in order to wash my hands after eating, I usually get a cup of water from a water filter near the trash can. Open the trash can with my foot, there is a pedal to open it, and then pour water over my hands with the water flowing into the trash can. I then use an extra napkin to dry my hands and get rid of any remaining residue. Once I reach home, I use soap to wash my hands nicely. Up until yesterday, no one seemed to care that I was washing my hands this way. But yesterday, a volunteer at the temple seemed a bit disgusted, or I guess he had a disapproving face when he saw me doing this. I just said sorry. He said, "It's not about being sorry." Another volunteer, maybe his wife or someone else, told the man to just let it go. I didn't know how to respond, so I just left after that. I'm thinking of getting hand sanitizer or a small pack of disinfectant wipes with me moving forwards to clean my hands after eating. But do you think I was the asshole for how I washed my hands up until now? Now, this one's voted for asshole and this might be controversial, but what you did is wrong, but I don't think you're an asshole for it. I just don't think you were aware of what you were doing, okay? Because, yeah, the volunteer is going to be disapproving at you for doing this. And the reason for that is that this guy's probably had to empty out binfuls of water. No one likes getting wet shit from a bin on them, okay? And if a bin bag has a small hole in it, or a heavy bin full of sloshing water because they only empty it every couple days, or any multitudes of reasons like this volunteer is probably looking at you and suddenly realizing why these bins have been full of water. You know, and he's right. It's not about being sorry. It's about considering the things that you're doing before you do them, okay? What you have done was for cleanliness. Fine. It wasn't malicious or in any way attempting to undermine someone. Fine. But you have still negatively affected other people because of your actions. No one likes getting bin sludge on them. And you're turning that water straight into bin sludge. And it's just not nice. It's not nice for anyone involved. Yes, bring wet wipes and hand sanitizer. For the love of God, it makes so much more sense to do that. So much more sense. Even washing your hands just onto the floor where it would just dry up would have been a better option. Going to a street corner or an alleyway or somewhere in the sun and rinsing your hands off somewhere that will just seep into dirt or dry off would have been better. Not exactly fine, but better than running it into a bin where someone's got to empty it. That's nasty. That's nasty. So yeah, just consider these things before you do them. Am I the asshole for laughing in my cousin's face when she tried to stage an intervention for my drug use? I, 27 male, have a condition which causes me to overproduce earwax. I don't tell people about it because I was bullied for it growing up. Only my wife and parents know. Every other day, I have to put medication in each ear, let it sit, and then flush it out with a rubber-tipped syringe. This prevents ear infections, vertigo, permanent hearing loss, and worsening of my tinnitus. I have dealt with all of these things to some extent, so I stay on top of my eardrop regimen. If my alarm goes off when I'm with others, I go to the bathroom for 20 minutes and knock it out. If I don't follow my schedule, I forget, so I can't put it off. 2 weeks ago, my mum hosted family dinner. My cousin Cara, 37 female, saw me waltz off to the bathroom to do my thing, syringe in hand, and asked what I was doing. I said just a minor medical thing. She kept pushing, but I didn't want to say anything because she gossips. I told her it's personal and scooted past. When I left, she was standing in the hallway. She asked what took so long and why the toilet didn't flush. I said none of her business. She said she didn't mean to offend. Last weekend, my friend called me to invite me out to lunch with some buddies. He said to meet up at his house so we wouldn't have to drive separately. I arrive at his house to find Cara and my friends sitting solemnly on the couch. Cara said they were here to talk about my problem and that they just wanted to help. I said there is no problem. Suddenly, it clicked in my head what this was about. I couldn't help but laugh a little out of shock. She asked what was so funny, and I said, first of all, why didn't you talk to my wife or parents? She said she didn't want to involve my enablers, which just made me laugh harder. She looked annoyed and said she was done trying to help. I said that's alright by me. She stormed out. I explained to my friends. They knew I have a condition but never pressed me on it. I guess when Cara approached them, they thought I was lying. Obviously, I'd rather they know than worry about me being an addict when I'm not. I thank them for their support anyways. Cara had apparently reached all of my friends through my social media. We all got a good hearty laugh out of it, which Cara must have heard because she was, of course, eavesdropping. She burst back in and told me to tell them the truth, to which I said I did. My friend kicked her out. We went for lunch, and I thought that was that. My mum called me yesterday and told me she talked to Cara about the whole thing and explained. She said Cara was very upset with me and essentially called me an asshole for not explaining. I laughed in her face and laughing in her face and embarrassing her. I said I was embarrassed and that Cara had no right to my info. I think she shouldn't go around snooping and making assumptions. My mum still thinks I should apologize. ETA, she didn't see my alarm go off, just ran into me on her way from the kitchen. My alarm isn't for dinner time, it's for 9:15 PM. I do it at home most of the time. Not the asshole. Obviously not the asshole. This one voted not the asshole, but here's the thing. If you think someone has a problem, like a drug addiction and you want to help them through it and help them get past it, you don't just stage an intervention. You talk to that person, because you need to first of all establish what the problem is, because they could be addicted to any multitude of things and not all of them are treated the same way. But second of all, they might not be addicted to anything. You've seen this person go into a bathroom once. They went into a bathroom once and she made a whiplash judgment that they must be a drug addict because the toilet didn't flush when they went into the bathroom once. Now, she didn't ask if they had any medical conditions. They didn't ask if they were doing anything like that. They didn't ask anything. They didn't even try and talk to them one-on-one about the possibility that they might be doing drugs. Instead, they contacted all of their friends to stage an intervention based on one encounter. So to laugh in their face for that, I don't think is an asshole move. I really don't. I think it's warranted. I think that's very, very much warranted. And that's where I'm going to end the video. I hope you have enjoyed. Interesting one. Interesting one. Again, I try and break up the not the asshole posts with asshole posts, but you really have to specifically search for them in this subreddit. But anyway, I hope you have all enjoyed. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. A huge, massive special thank you though to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. All of your names are on screen right now. It genuinely helps a lot. So thank you to everybody that does. It means a lot to me. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.